Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, BNEWS reporters Tad Stefanak, Robert Paris, and John Vias. Madison Metzdorf with the weather, Maddie Shipka with the community calendar, and Joe Viscioni with sports. Thank you for joining us. The trial of a Burlington woman who was charged with the killing of a 6-month-old girl who was under her care by shaking got underway on Monday in Middlesex Superior Court in Woburn. Pallavi Macharli was in court on Monday to face accusations that she shook 6-month-old Ridima Dekane while babysitting her in 2014. As reported on BNews, authorities say that on Thursday, March 27, 2014, Ridima was left in the care of Machala, a neighbor who regularly provided child care for the baby. It is alleged that at approximately 2:40 p.m., Machala called the baby's mother to say the baby was not breathing. The defendant reported that the baby became unresponsive after vomiting following a feeding. First responders arriving at the residence on Barron Park Lane in Burlington found the baby unresponsive, pulseless, and apneic. The child was transported by ambulance to Lahey Hospital and then to Boston Children's Hospital, where she was pronounced dead on March 30th. In court on Monday, prosecutor Catherine Folger suggested Machala was frustrated by Ridima's crying and shook the baby so hard she died of shaken baby syndrome. Machala's attorneys argued the infant died after eating applesauce prepared by her mother that caused the baby to vomit. Multiple medical experts are expected to testify in the case, including Dr. Anna McDonald, who performed the autopsy on 6-month-old Ridima Dekane and initially determined the baby died from abusive head trauma and excessive shaking, but who later said she was no longer convinced the death was a homicide. In 2016, she said that after reviewing reports from the defense, she said she came to believe the child died from cardiac arrest. The Burlington Police Department is warning residents not to leave valuables in cars and to report any suspicious behavior after a rash of car break-ins, possibly connected to a professional group of thieves working in the area. A reminder that when you park your car, not to leave any valuables in the vehicle or in plain sight, police say. There has been a recent spike in car breaks in the region, and it is believed a professional group that works around the country is in the area actively doing these now. This group often targets vehicles in places where people leave purses and wallets in their car. Police said parking lots at recreational areas, walking paths, parks, playgrounds, dog parks, daycare centers, and gyms are often targeted. It might not only be the loss of money or valuables inside a vehicle that residents have to worry about. Police say the group has a history of using stolen ID documents at bank drive-thrus. Report suspicious behavior to police right away at 781-272-1212 and hit 0 to get dispatch. If you see a crime in progress, call 911, please. Members of the Burlington Fire Department were at the Burlington Police Department to engage in some training with the police with the goal of being able to deliver medical care to those injured during an emergency situation like an active shooter before the scene is completely cleared. BNews Director Rich Hosford was there and has this report.
In the lower level of the Burlington Police Department, officers and members of the Burlington Fire Department were engaged in an operation to keep this patient, a mannequin, alive and well. It was part of an ongoing training between the two departments that has been happening for the past 3 years. They have created what is called the Rescue Task Force that has the mission of getting critical medical care quickly to patients during an event such as an active shooting.
Rescue Task Force is a plan that we've come up with along with the fire department, and it's really due in part or in large part to the fire department changing their policies and their response to get more involved on a quicker timetable than they ever have in the past.
This means that rather than waiting for an area to be completely cleared by police, something that can take hours in large facilities such as schools and malls, medical first responders will now enter areas that have been secure even if the situation is still active nearby. Lieutenant Hannafin said that in the past, police officers either had to attempt medical care themselves or leave patients waiting while they secured the premises.
So what we've done is we've started a plan where they're going to move more quickly into a warm zone. So a warm zone would be an area that the police have already checked and searched and held with our personnel and controlled, right? So then the fire department personnel would move in with the security team of police officers to deal with the victims, to get them more quickly to definitive care out into the ambulances and off to the hospital to get them care and to stop the dying.
While firefighter, paramedics, and EMTs work to attend patients, the police keep a close guard on them to try and ensure their safety.
In that situation, we kind of look at it from a law enforcement perspective like a Secret Service protective detail, where our responsibility are those firefighters at that moment. There's a larger security team that sets up a perimeter inside to create and lock down the security of the environment that would be inside the building. With us moving with the fire department, our job is to protect them because they don't have weapons to protect themselves and things, and their responsibility is the medical aspect. So we have to lead them, take them in and take them out, and also protect them along the way.
Finally, while more departments across the country are starting this type of training, and even more are talking about it, Lieutenant Hannaford said the Burlington Fire Department is well ahead of its peers.
The fire department, really a lot of credit. They're way ahead of the game in our region and around the country, frankly, in getting involved in this. They're at the front, sort of the tip of the spear when it comes in Burlington here to moving forward with this rescue task force, structure, and it's unfortunately something that fire departments all across the country are going to have to adopt eventually in order to be prepared for this potential threat.
From the Burlington Police Department, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Hosford.
A change in the way the Burlington School Department's administration salaries are reported in a proposed budget has caused some confusion in the public arena. After the proposed FY20 budget was discussed at the Tuesday, April 9th school committee meeting, there were reports in some publications that Superintendent of Schools Eric Conti was set to receive a $14,000 or roughly 7% raise in the year to come. A quick comparison of the number listed on the budget sheet would seem to bear this math out. However, in the initial budget report for FY19, Conti's salary was listed at roughly $202,000, and the new proposed budget had it listed as $216,000. Plug those numbers into a percentage change calculator and you get a result of 7.4%. However, School Department Business Manager Nicole Kosha and School Committee member Christine Monaco explained to BNews that the two numbers are not apples to apples. They explained that in last year's 5% annuity that Conti receives as part of his contract was listed with his salary rather than the line item for negotiated salary adjustments, as it had in the past. What changed in the past year, Kosha said, is that as part of the rebuild of how the school department budget is created, she started to include the annuity amount into the salary line in the proposed budget. When that is adjusted for the math, it shows that Superintendent Conti received just under a 2% raise. Pet therapy is a new, innovative approach to health care that has been gaining ground in the medical community. Burlington's Lahey Hospital has a specially trained therapy dog that brings a unique form for care to not only patients but to the hardworking hospital staff. BNews reporter Tad Stefanak paid a visit to Lahey and has more.
An increasingly popular form of medical treatment is animal-assisted therapy, and Burlington's Lahey Hospital is complementing its own outstanding care services with Zest.
Pet therapy is gaining a lot of ground in hospitals and nursing homes and institutions, libraries, schools, because of the difference that it makes in the lives of patients, staff, children learning to read in the library, students in exams of universities and colleges.
Pulmonary critical care physician Dr. Anthony Gray
That's who I'm looking for.
has been with Lahey for over 30 years and works in the intensive care unit with Zest.
In the ICU, the patient acuity, the level of illness is quite great. Though it's maybe very stressful within the ICU, when Zest walks in the room, pretty much everyone's level of calm just increases tremendously.
The staff, they just fawn all over her. The patients fawn all over her. The families, they love it. You know, they come to me frequently and say, is Zest coming today? Is Zest coming today? You know, she just really lifts the mood in the unit and, you know, gives that staff that, you know, reinvigoration.
Lahey's canine companion has been able to give patients her own unique kind of comfort.
People who can't talk because of they have a breathing tube in place, but they'll reach over and Zest will put her paws on the bed and they just, they melt.
Patients, you know, will go from a withdrawn state sometimes because they're depressed about being in the intensive care unit to having their face just completely light up. It's really a dose of great medicine.
I asked about hygiene concerns having a dog in a sanitary environment.
There is some hesitation. However, the literature shows that the great benefits that a therapy dog can have on the patients, the families, and the staff.
There is a little bit of a risk in having animals within the hospital setting, but we did vet this through the infectious disease department, and they felt it was okay to have the animals come for visitations.
And when you see the difference that this dog and the other dogs can make with patients and the patients' families, it's just, it's very touching, but it really speaks volumes of what pet therapy can do in an institution such as Lahey.
It's working out fantastic.
She's a therapy dog, not just for the patients, but for the staff as well, too.
From Lahey Hospital, I'm BNEWS reporter Tad Stefanak.
Burlington will celebrate Memorial Day weekend in a special way this year as the town comes together to recognize the service and sacrifice of Lance Corporal Gregory E. McDonald, a former resident of the town who fell during the Iraq War. The bridge on Cambridge Street that crosses I-95 will be renamed in his honor. Lance Corporal McDonald died on June 25, 2003 in Hilla, Iraq at the age of 29. While another Marine unit was under ambush, Lance Corporal McDonald's light armored vehicle raced to assist when the vehicle flipped, killing McDonald and injuring 2 other Marines. Lance Corporal McDonald remains the only service member from Burlington to be killed following 9/11. State Representative Ken Gordon will host a rededication ceremony at the Town Common on Sunday, May 26th at 1 p.m. He will be joined by Lance Corporal McDonald's family members, including his parents, Arthur and Diana McDonald. The community is invited to attend. McDonald graduated Burlington High School and studied philosophy and social policy at Belmont University before moving to Washington, D.C., where he earned a master's degree in philosophy and Near East policy from American University in 2001. In 1999, he joined the U.S. Marine Corps Reserves. McDonald joined the Marine Corps to help bring peace to the Middle East. Representative Gordon said he wanted to dedicate the bridge to Lance Corporal McDonald to both honor his memory and to recognize the sacrifice of all members of the armed forces. Seating will be available to the public. In case of inclement weather, the ceremony will move to Burlington High School's Fogelberg Auditorium. The Burlington Parks and Recreation and Police Department held their first Community Safety Day at the Murray Kelly Wing and gave kids with autism a chance to meet the town's police officers. BNews reporter John Vias was there and files this report.
On Saturday, April 13th, the Burlington Parks and Rec Department and the Burlington Police Department put together their very first autism-friendly Community Day. In honor of April being Autism Awareness Month, kids got a chance to meet some of the town's police officers, and parents learned tips for keeping their kids safe and how to create a safety profile with the Burlington Police Department. Officer Stephen Papagna explains the importance of safety for kids with autism.
It's very important so that when we actually interact with people who are autistic, families that live with autism, it's better so we understand what our responses are going to be, how we can handle it appropriately. We don't want to overreact. We don't want to underreact. We want to respond properly. Some cases we'll get a call for a disturbance that's going on in the home. Sure, there could be a domestic disturbance as an example, but that's a lot different than an autistic person he's upset, scared, lost, missing. That's a lot different. We don't want our officers to overreact. We don't want our officers to harm anybody. We do, of course, have to do our job, but we just don't want to do it wrong.
Officer Papagna also says that safety requires patience.
Have patience. These people live in our community. They become adults, and with patience, time, and the proper education, and a lot of love and support from our community, and a lot of patience, they become adults, and hopefully they'll be able to, be very productive in our community.
From the Murray Kelly Wing, I'm John Vias for BNews Weekly.
A new restaurant has opened in Burlington. Blackbird Cafe, a breakfast all-day restaurant that also has lunch options, has opened its doors in the Middlesex Commons at 101 Middlesex Turnpike in the former Presti Pizzeria location. Blackbird Burlington now open, an April 20 post on the restaurant's Facebook page says. Huge thanks for all the love and support over the past 8 months as we passionately built our third location. To our family, friends, staff, and customers, thank you. We hope you enjoy our new location. Blackbird Cafe serves a wide variety of breakfast dishes, creative breakfast sandwiches, and breakfast sandwiches, baked goods, and lunch options. They also have fresh gourmet coffee. They also do catering and delivery. The Burlington Public Library had former Burlington Police Chief and Beatles enthusiast Fran Hart come by to give a presentation about the popular band's cultural impact in the 1960s. BCAT was there to tape the event, and BNews reporter Robert Paris files this report.
In 1964, one of the most popular bands of all time changed the way we listen to music forever. On Thursday, April 25th, the Burlington Public Library had former Burlington Police Chief Fran Hart give a presentation entitled A Cultural and Historical Reflection of the 1960s Through the Music of the Beatles.
Marty Smith, our assistant director, found out that our former chief of police was a Beatles enthusiast and did these programs on Beatles and their cultural significance and musical significance in history. And so it felt like it was just a natural program to put together for the library.
Hart began his passion for music when he was 8 years old.
Took a long respite from music when I got married and had kids and so forth and was working. But then at our 35th high school reunion, I hooked up with some guys that were playing that night called Four on the Floor. Some of them were classmates of mine. And they said, why don't you come up and play a few tunes with us? And I did that, and I got the bug again. And then I started playing some solo gigs and going to open mic nights and doing a lot of things like that.
As the years went on, Hart and his former classmates created a small side band project to the beloved Beatles.
And I joined a band that was a Beatles cover band, and it was okay. And then we moved to another band that was a little better. And in the meantime, these guys that were in Four on the Floor wanted to do a Beatles side project, and they said, we think we'd like to have you come play with us. And I said, okay, because they're amazing musicians. We started late 2012 rehearsing, and by 2013 we went out and played our first gig, and we've been playing pretty much nonstop ever since.
Whether you grew up with the Beatles or not, they have made a cultural impact on the way we listen to music today.
I think the Beatles had more of an impact on music than most anyone as a band and as individuals even after that. And music is always a big pull for programming at the library, and so it's a win-win situation for us to have history and musical interest.
From the Burlington Public Library, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
The Burlington Town Hall main hearing room was full of police officers on Monday night to welcome the newest member to their ranks. Officer Brittany Zaccanini was sworn into her new role at Monday's meeting of the Board of Selectmen at the recommendation of Chief Michael Kent. Officer Zaccanini is the daughter of Mark and Heather Zaccanini of Wilmington. She was set to begin a 12-week field training program on Tuesday. Officer Zaccanini is a 2013 graduate of Wilmington High School and a 2017 graduate of the University of New Hampshire, where she double majored in justice and psychology with a minor in forensics, a release from Chief Kent states. While on campus, she was involved in extracurricular programs that emphasize social justice and philanthropy. She has served as an intern with the Tewksbury Police Department, where she learned firsthand about the roles and responsibilities of a police officer, and more recently worked as a special police officer with the Methuen Police Department. Officer Zaccanini graduated from Northern Essex Community College, Methuen Police Academy in September. Following completion of the Academy's rigorous 24-week course, she was also recognized with the Academy's Defensive Tactic Award. Chief Kent said she brings a unique background and set of skills that will make her an immediate asset to the department. Peter Brown is out this week, and filling in for the weather report is BCAT intern Madison Metzdorf, who will give us the full forecast. We'll also check out the community calendar with Maddie Shipka to see what's happening in Burlington.
Hello, I'm Madison Metzdorf, filling in for the BNews meteorologist Peter Brown, who is out this week. We start our weather report with the almanac, which says we are going to start the week having temperatures in the low 60s, which is average for this time of year. Historically, on this date, we saw summer-like temperatures with a high of 86 degrees in 2009, which must have inspired people to rush to the beach. The historic low for this day was 26 degrees in 1967, which would definitely keep people inside. One final note on the almanac is that we will be having more than 10 hours of daylight each day. The sunset will be at 7:39 p.m. Now let's take a look at the 7-day forecast. I do have to say there's a lot more rain than sun for the upcoming week. On Friday, we will have a chance of rain with temps in the low 60s. On Saturday, the sun will make an appearance with some clouds and a temperature in the high 50s. Sunday, we will see more rain in the mix with temps in the low 60s. Monday, we will see partly sunny skies and temps in the upper 50s. And finally, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday will bring another mix of partly sunny skies with some rain and temps in the high 50s and mid 60s. That's all for your weekly forecast. I'm Madison Metzdorf, saying, as Peter Brown always does, get out and enjoy the weather.
Hi, my name is Melody and I'm a junior Girl Scout. I would like you to think about what I'm about to tell you. Did you know that over 1 million marine animals, including sea turtles, are killed each year due to plastic trash in the ocean? When you use a single plastic disposable straws, you are directly impacting the lives and deaths of sea turtles. Turtles are being harmed by plastic straws getting up their noses. They also choke on them and swallow the plastic, which leads to their deaths. Scientists at the UGA New Materials Institute held a study which discovered tiny plastic particles smaller than the dust or powdered sugar inside baby sea turtles. Out of all the turtles observed on the study, we have found to eaten plastic. These baby sea turtles were likely dying due to eating plastic pollution. This could play a big part of the turtles becoming extinct. So next time you pick up some takeout, please consider leaving the straw behind. It will mean keeping our oceans a bit cleaner and saving the lives of our sea turtles. Thank you.
I'm Maddie Shipka, and this is your Community Calendar. Explore some hit or miss items in Burlington. On Saturday, May 4th, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., the Parks and Recreation Department will be having their very first community yard sale. The department will be compiling a map and list of wares being sold at each stop. All are welcome to attend each yard sale around Burlington. For more information, visit burlingtonrecreation.org or call 781-270-1695. Come and explore the wonders of science. On Sunday, May 5th at 2 p.m., the Burlington Public Library will be having another edition of Science Sundays. This month, Harvard professor Chris Rycroft will discuss the fantastic world of fractals. You will be recognizing fractal patterns in the world around us. Everyone is welcome and the event is free. For more information, visit burlington.org or call 781-270-1690. 4. On Monday, May 6th, from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., the Burlington Area Chamber of Commerce will be having their annual golf tournament at the Andover Country Club. The event is $175 per player. Everyone is welcome and pre-registration is required. For more information and to register, visit burlingtonareachamberofcommerce.org. I'm Maddie Shipka, and this has been your Community Calendar.
The spring sports season is well underway, and for the latest Red Devils action, we go now to BNEWS sports reporter Joe Viscioni for this week's sports report.
Hello everyone, I'm Joe Viscioni for your weekly sports report. It was a busy week back for Burlington High spring sports. The boys and girls tennis teams both had wins against the Wilmington Wildcats on Tuesday. The Red Devils won by a score of 3-2, and the Lady Devils won by a score of 4-1. Individual wins were made by Maddie Metzdorf, Liz Gilliseppe, Niti Suriyam, Casey Pastuzzi, Annabelle Wiley, and Neha Pankey. The tennis teams are scheduled to play on Thursday to take on the Stoneham Spartans at 4 p.m. Lady Devils will play at Stoneham, while the boys will play at Rohannes Park. The lacrosse teams had a tough time against the Winchester Sachems on Tuesday. Both teams lost 14-3. Both teams are playing their next opponents on Friday afternoon to take on Wakefield Memorial and try to get back in the win column. The boys' baseball had an extra day to rest as their game was postponed from Tuesday afternoon against Wakefield. The game was rescheduled to Wednesday afternoon at 4 p.m. Girls softball won a big matchup against Wakefield on Tuesday afternoon with a final score of 8-1. They will also be traveling to Wilmington to take on the Wildcats on Thursday. Finally, it was a sprint to the finish for both the boys and girls track teams on Tuesday afternoon at Varsity Field. BNews sports reporter Robert Paris went down to the meet and found out how much prep work it really takes.
It was an eventful day for BHS students at Varsity Field. On Tuesday afternoon, the boys and girls track teams faced off against the Stoneham Spartans. There are a lot of preparations that go into the meet on and off the field.
There are 16 events in outdoors, so we have a lot of girls that do multiple things. So really it's kind of like putting puzzle pieces together. You just try to move kids where you can. You try not to overthink it. You trust kids to perform, and usually when you show belief in them, they start believing in themselves.
Students do say track meets can be very hectic, but the coaches keep everything well ordered.
Our coaches are very meticulous and organized, so it's like very, especially at our home meets, we are very like organized. Like, everybody knows what events are going on at what time. Our team is so like close knit. Like everyone knows who's running what, and we're all out there like cheering for everyone. So I've never felt it was very like overwhelming. I thought it was pretty, like I've always felt like we've been done like well, and like I've been calm and relaxed and pumped for every meet.
The coaches and players work together to keep everyone laser focused throughout the season.
We are lucky that we have enough kids where we have leaders who hopefully, each event, they know what they're supposed to be doing. So if we have the 200 starting to warm up, all the girls who run the 200 know what they're supposed to be doing. So again, same thing, you have 4 coaches, you can only do so much. So the idea is for them to take ownership of that. They know the order of events, they listen to the announcements, and they just mentally and physically have to prepare themselves.
From Varsity Field, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Sports.
Girls track won their third meet against Stoneham. The girls took out 11 of 16 victories. Sophomore Winnie Sakaya led the team with 15 points, winning all 3 of her events. The team also managed to set 49 personal bests. Freshman Casey Collins won her first varsity win in the mile as well. The Red Devils also got their first win over the Spartans as well. The boys defeated Stoneham with a final score of 92-42. They are first place in the Middlesex League Freedom Conference at 3-0. The Lady Devils will travel to Watertown for their next meet to take on the Red Raiders on Wednesday, May 1st at 4 p.m. Boys track will be going to an invitational on Saturday, April 27th at 9:30 a.m. versus the Pembroke Titans. Anyway, that's all for your weekly sports report. I'm Joe Viscioni, and back to you guys in the studio.
Another week, another photo to highlight. This week we have a photo of a construction project in the works. It was taken by BNews Director Rich Hosford and shows the new building at the Burlington Mall site where the Sears Auto Center used to be. Simon's Properties, owners of the mall, is building a new 35,000 square foot restaurant and retail building that will feature improved landscaping and pedestrian-friendly connections to the main mall building. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of something you see around town, the weather outside your own door, or even photos of your family members, friends, and pets, whatever you think is interesting and would like to share with us and the community. Email your photos to bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. Okay, don't forget this weekend, beginning April 26th, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the Friends of the Burlington Library will be conducting their semi-annual book sale. So get on up there and get some bargains, $1 and $2 a piece, and then I think $5 or $5 for as many as you can fit in a bag on Sunday. Okay, that's it from the news desk here at BNews Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with Rich Hosford, Tad Stefanak, John Vias, Robert Paris, Madison Metzdorf, Maddie Shipka, and Joe Viscioni. Thank you for joining us.